So, but good deal. All right. Well, first, Andy, amazing course. I have to say the Ultra Gods are were smiling down on you last week because if we ran this course this weekend,
That'd be rough.
We need to put the tarps out.
holy
We got
moly.
tarps over the whole course just to be precautionary.
Marty, how was the course on the last couple loops or
Well,
last
yes,
It was
loop?
Lordy.
the rain the thunderstorm hit when I was at the A Station 1, so mile 4 of the last loop, and it was not bad even after the pouring. It was two different like waves of pouring rain, and even after the second one, there was no standing water really. There was a couple of spots that were just a little bit muddy, but not slick at all. Nothing like last year.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was it was fine. It did get colder after the second wave came through. It started getting a little colder, but not terrible.
yeah. I was the one area between boots and saddles and the finish line. I remember we ran that last year and it was under before the race, it was underwater, and I was scared about that, but that was all dried out. There was no water on that course. It was what would you call it? Pristine.
I
Yep.
do use that word.
Pristine out there. It was fast. I mean, you could tell in that first loop going out, uh, those people were running fast. Those people were going fast. I think when I saw you, Mike, you were taking pictures before coming into B the second time, and there was a
Yeah.
cameraman after you, and he said I was in like 35th, and Ramon was in. No, I was in 34th. Ramon was in 35th, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't
Yeah, you
believe
guys
how
were
many
moving.
people. And how many people were in front of us, and I kept looking down on my watch, and I was trying to stay in the 930s, and I kept looking down, and I was in the 850s.
I saw Kalo out there, and he said he was doing a 7.5 minute pace, and then I looked behind him, and right behind him, two more guys, and then a minute later another group, and so there was a group of people doing sub sevens for at least the first half of that first loop.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
wild.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. We definitely, and like Barrett said the day before, he goes, "This course is fast," and I said that last year. If it was dry, it's going to be a fast course. Now, when it got dark, that course was a different course because you were tripping over every damn root, and those toes that you had blisters on were just killing you. Especially in the group B, the B loops, there was a lot of roots out there. But the other sections, the rest of the sections it was just a beautiful, beautiful course out there. It was a little hot. Um, I didn't mind that because that when you're as old as I am, you gotta use that to your advantage.
Keep the joints warm.
What's that?
Keep the joints warm.
Keep the joints warm. So, um,
Joint? Somebody say joint? That's that THC Andy was
warm,
talking about
not
in the
he said
last
warm,
episode.
not lit. So, um, anybody look at the splits for the race? Go through them. How do you thought it played out?
The
I've
split.
looked at just the finish time.
Just
I
to
haven't
finish.
looked at the splits. I have the
It was a
splits, but I
lot.
haven't looked at them.
No, I like that. I like the numbers. So I was
Yeah, I looked when they first came out, but he gave a lot of information.
Yeah.
there was a
Yeah.
lot there was a lot of
Yeah.
there was a lot of timing mats out there, which
And it's a good thing because we didn't have any incidences this year, which is better than last year. Last year we had a couple people that um, didn't do the whole course. Had to have a couple of DQs, whereas this year the only one we were concerned about, Bobby Joe got her back on track, and such a selfless move. We were so appreciative. So yeah, the timing mats really worked out well this year, where they were, and I think somebody may have cut something, but we don't know about it. They were good at it. They were better at it than they were last year.
Now,
One area, one
go ahead,
area that I saw that was kind of odd was at the aid station where the campground's at.
Uh-huh.
Some people didn't see that turn into
Right. Yeah.
to go around, and so we had a few people, and they were kind of yelling at him, "Hey, come back!" So that
Right.
might have been, but that's only what's like a tenth of a mile. So
Yeah, like a tenth of a mile, and the aid station staff there, they took care of that. If you went back
yeah.
later, I mean, they pretty well they
Yeah,
forced
that-
people to go that.
yeah, every time I went through there was more and more signs out there.
Yes. Yes.
And just like at the what'd you guys call it? The S or
The jig jag.
The jig
the
jag.
one-
Yeah.
the jig jag.
Do a little
Um,
jig-jag.
Yeah, but you guys had people stationed out there the whole time.
We did, but now Jeff and Marty, you guys ran that. How confusing was it? Because we're thinking about making a modification for next year.
Andy, I
Well,
knew the course, so it didn't.
Right.
It didn't. I knew what I was doing.
I mean, I almost missed it on the first
Uh-huh.
time. So like went for the furlong because we had to go in, went around the campground and then turned around and came back.
Right.
So I almost went straight, but I think too there were people standing there,
Uh-huh.
like chatting, I think. So I think my eye was probably more directed towards them. Like, so it could have just been me being distracted.
I don't mind if you almost miss it. That doesn't.
Because I started going and they're like, no.
I mean, a lot of times when people almost miss stuff or they get a couple of feet off, they consider that they got
Yeah.
lost. To me, getting lost is you're adding flipping half mile or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, if you have to stop and think, yeah, that's just navigating. You have to
Yeah.
stop and think. But
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic. People lose track of the fact it's a trail race,
yeah,
and navigation's part of a trail race. And your course is so well marked, it's so easy to follow. That was the one turn in the entire race that they actually had to think about.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Yeah.
we did stress it. Now, how about
actually-
you, Marty?
Female number 3 and female number 4 both missed the turn coming out of boots and saddle.
Yeah, and I talked to both of them about it,
Oh.
and they're both. One of them said she was following somebody that was DNFing, so they were going back what they thought was the quickest way
Yeah.
back to the start finish, so they could drop. But it would be nothing to throw another sign up there. I mean, if somebody misses that, hey, that's bad luck, but it's marked. It's not, it's marked. If I'm coming to a turn, I'm looking for a marker.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Marty,
don't
I
take
want to
my
know.
word, I'm not a trail runner.
I mean, Marty, did you have any trouble with that going towards aid station 1, where there was that, runners going different directions?
No, not at all. For some races, especially with longer loops, you would think it would be easy to forget where you had been.
Right.
But my first time through there, Craig Betts was standing right there, so he pointed me which way to go. And so after that, I just knew it by memory. It was very simple because it was marked very well. It was just the only reason it was confusing is because you could see the other markers on the other side of the
Right.
bathrooms.
Right.
And so, but as long as you just focused on where you were at, it was
I
not
know.
confusing at all.
Thanks, Marty.
Yeah. And Craig's in the chat, so if you want to thank him, you can thank him.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Craig, for pointing us in the right direction.
Yeah. And Sergey says it wasn't very confusing. He said maybe first loop, but after that they were
Yeah,
fine.
everything else was.
And
And
Andy,
the
Andy,
other
maybe that's
section, the
a
section that
solution.
I was concerned about was the one going the little quick right left going into the yellow trail. But that was
that's actually what I was
very
talking about, Marty.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that section there was somebody standing there every single time that I turned there. And so, but it was very obvious. You had it marked well on the road. There were flags there, and there was no question about that.
Well,
That
the
was
lights too. When they put the lights up there
right at
that
night.
that was
They were lighted.
that was great.
And Andy, you could make that like a fun spot, like aid station next year. Don't put anything out there. But
Right. Right.
the people that you had there were awesome.
Yeah. Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
they made it they made it a lot of fun going through there. It was
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
and someone was out there. I forget what her name was. She was there. She literally
Yeah.
put
Kristen and
long
Jean
haul
were out there for a long time.
Yeah, she was
They
out there
had
seemed like
music out
24
there.
hours.
Like I think you could make that a fun area in
Yeah.
like the disco corner or something.
All right. Yeah.
Well, we got to create a special place for me to do my thing next year because I'm coming back to cook next year or whatever
Ooh.
it is I do. I'm going to
I'm coming
do it
back to
right
eat.
next year.
We thought about Marty. Marty, could we live stream the race next year?
However I can best serve. I really want to do the Donna race, which is 2 weeks later, and I was supposed to do it this year, but I'm just too beat up. I can't run it this year. But next year, I'm going to volunteer at Long Haul and do the Donna race instead.
Aid station.
Because-
Andy Barrett, aid station was unbelievable. I couldn't wait to hit it at night with the lights.
That was fun. That's
Yeah.
getting a little better each year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy certainly kept me focused. You know, I came in there a couple of times kind of in low spots and I remember one time he said, "Marty, I love you, but get the hell out of my aid station."
And
As
then
he should.
and then the chicken noodle soup was so good out at B. I think I had it 2 or 3 times going through there. So you had some really good aid stations out there. It kept people going, which was pretty exciting. Well, it kept me going.
Yeah, and at the start line aid station, I discovered a new food that was spectacular. It was turkey and guacamole on a wrap. That was very good.
And that was at the start finish.
Yeah, that was at the start finish early. First time through there is when I got that.
Oh, good deal. So, all right, let's talk about how the race played out. Mark, you had a pretty front row seat to it.
Yeah, I spent
Giving me updates.
I spent 50 miles with Ramon, so ran the second 50 with him. So
Yeah.
he did a great job. He kept himself under control. Like you said, 35th position, after the first lap. And, we didn't have a clue. We really didn't check throughout the whole race of where his position was. He just moved steady and comfortable and, gained 26 positions in those next 5 laps.
Oh yeah, we were so I started the walk run too. I started right off the start, and people are looking at you early on. But then I saw Ramon in front of me, and I'm like, who's that guy doing a walk run? I'm like, oh yeah, Ramon didn't have a shirt on. I go, Mark's with him. So if Mark told him to walk run, then I need to walk run. And so the two of us did the whole first loop together because our runs were different. And
and he was doing a 3-minute run, 40-second walk.
Yeah.
So, and he started it from the very beginning of the race.
And we were chatting. And we're like, man, we're in 34th and 35th. I go, we're gonna move up. We're gonna move up all day long. And that's what I never saw him after loop 1, and we just remained the. I think we were pretty even the whole way. I saw you guys at the end of the 5th loop, and you guys had about 3 miles on us, and then there wasn't enough. We weren't going to catch you. But I mean, you were giving me good updates early on about the other guys.
Yeah, like you said, those guys ran fast, and chances are that they're going to come back to you. I mean, we passed a lot of people, and we had no clue we were passing them.
Yeah, and that's a hard part about the loop race is you're passing people. You don't know if you're lapping them, or I mean, you can usually tell if you're lapping them or if you're passing someone. And all day, most of the day, I didn't know. I think someone at one point told me I was in 25th, but that's all I knew.
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple people that we were looking for, waiting to pass them. We never saw them. We ended up passing them and didn't even know that we had gone by them.
Like I never saw James Ebert all day. Jonathan Kerr, I never saw him. A few other people. Lowe, I never saw her.
I saw her once at the end.
What's that?
So I saw her at the end when I was pacing.
Yeah.
She was on her last lap. Clapper was taking her to the finish, and she was in the zone. She was not. She apologized to me later. She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't say hi to you."
She was hard at work.
Yeah.
Clapper's a slave master. He was on it.
Yeah.
He paced Chris Stengel 2 years ago, and man, when he got there, he was like, "Here's what we're doing," and he was like you said, he was driving him, and he's like, "We're not slowing down."
Right.
He did that for me for a cross forward as well, so I got some firsthand.
Oh yeah, you had him for
Hurts him a
200
little bit in my
miles.
head, but
You're still having nightmares.
oh yeah,
I crossed way
I
past
know.
with them out past Boots and Saddles, and he was leading the way, and it was dark, so he didn't see me, and I saw him, this big booming figure, and she's this tiny person, so I knew exactly who they were, and I said, "Clapper, is that you?" And I said, "It's Marty," and he said, "See you, brother." Any other time, he would have a conversation with you, but he had business to handle there,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. It's Andy, it's definitely a different course without the out and backs. At the old course, and then even last year, we knew where everybody was. You could tell where everybody was last year. This year, you had those little out and backs. It was a different race. I mean, some people, the guys at the top knew where they were, but some of us in the middle were trying to figure out, and it might have been good. So I think it might have helped me out, because if I knew, I was coming in 12th instead of top 10, I would have pushed myself. And
Yeah, you had a couple right there in front of you too.
I had won 16 seconds. I had no
Yeah.
clue he was there. I'd come across the finish line, and you're handing him a buckle, and I'm like, I didn't know I was that close. but at the same time, like 4 miles out, along like the power lines, we see a headlamp closing in on us pretty quickly, and I go, that has to be Joanne Fisher. And as it got within, I don't know, 20 yards, I just bolted, and we just ran the last 5 miles. It ended up not being her. It was another guy that came in 5 minutes after me. But yeah, I had no clue they were there. And,
Gotcha. Yeah, Joe was, I don't know what Joe was top 15 though, right? I mean, it seems like she was
Joe came in. Joanne was 14th, so
14th, yeah,
third female.
Yeah.
And she ran a, what was it, 19? She was like 10 minutes behind me.
Yeah, right at 10 minutes.
I saw her once, but I always knew she was behind me because we were sharing a tent with Luis, and Luis was going back and forth between start finish and Group B, and he was always at Group B when I ran through Group B. So I knew she was always within 3-4 miles of me.
I tell you, Joanne, the fastest she ran is she was one of the ones that made the right turn out of Boots or Saddles.
Yeah.
Instead of going left.
Yeah,
And,
she made it. Craig actually paced Joanne on the last loop, and he said if he knew I was that close, he would have pushed her harder.
Yeah. But that was we were out delivering supplies and coming back, and we see this headlamp coming at us, which was not on the course, and it was Joe, and I mean she was running fast trying to get back on course. She says, "I'm lost."
Oh yeah,
You're not lost. You're about 50 yards off course, but she had been all the way to the road. So
geez,
she got a good extra mile in.
No, I thought that turn was marked well.
Well, and also, I mean, I put flags every 1/10 of a mile. Make sure every 1/10 of a mile. So
Ultra Brain makes you do weird things.
Oh, absolutely.
Turn you've taken 10 times, you're like,
yeah. And this was 2:00 in the morning. She was so proud of herself because she had dropped Luis, who was pacing her. She was so proud of herself. She wanted to just make sure he didn't catch her.
Yeah, I came across him at the turning point to go to the aid station, and I said, "Where's your runner?" And he said, "She dropped me."
I saw him everywhere.
He was just standing there looking sad.
He was sitting there at the Joseph Fuller Memorial.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, good for that. So, yeah, she moved.
Somebody did a nice job on that. I thought when we first came up to that, I thought somebody had actually died out there on the trail, and that was their marker.
Well,
not yet.
Yeah, you talked to Fuller, and he's died 5 times out there.
So, Joanne, after Loop 1, was in 53rd position, and she moved up all the way up to 14th. So she made. I think that was probably the biggest jump all day. I think Jennifer Russo, after she was behind me at one point. Oh, yep, there's
There it is. I bring it up for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was with Joe when he saw that for the first time too. He was really
Oh, I would
he
have
was
loved to
tickled with
see
that.
that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I came up and I was laughing, and there was two people there. I thought they had put it up, and they're like they couldn't figure out why I was laughing. I go, oh man. That's where Fuller does the aid station for. He does the aid station there for
Colt
Colt
45.
Yeah. Colt 45. Yeah. Yeah. So that was
So,
good.
yeah, I didn't even know Jennifer was going to be in the race because I certainly would have talked about her in the pre-race show.
Marty, she signed up the day before.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
that
he?
would have,
Yeah,
I
we
didn't know
have
that
been-
either. That was exciting.
Yeah, we have been in contact with her because she just didn't know if she was going to make it or not. And anyway, we gave her the green light, the day before the race.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she played? She was second
Female.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think she's the only person that passed me all day, and I have no clue where she passed me because she was behind me after some of the loops. I have no clue where she went by. But one of the other ones we missed, I listened to the pre-show to see who we missed on that list, and I thought Lucas Vidal had pulled out of the race. I never saw his name on there, and so we never mentioned him. And then
didn't.
I saw him at the packet pickup, and I went over and apologized to him. So,
He ran a good race.
he ran a really good race, and I would have easily have picked him for top 10 in there.
I would have picked him 8th.
What's that?
I would have picked him 8th.
That would have
That's
been
what I was
that would have
thinking.
been
I was
good.
thinking 8 myself. I thought we were only doing top 5. That's why I didn't mention.
So,
I had him at 8.
well, going over picks, Marty, you picked James Ebert for second.
Yeah, he's already reached out to me and thanked me for the kind words.
Oh, he was right on the start line. He came up to me and introduced himself to me, and I forget we had chatted about the Cross Florida and stuff, and so it was nice to meet him. And he ran a great race, and he's a bigger guy too on that. So he ran really, really well. And then Andy, you picked Jonathan Kerr for third. So you got that pick.
We got that pick. Yeah, there you go.
Marty's dark horse, Rob King, won the race.
Yeah, a little just edged everybody out by 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's all. No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He
was.
had to make Marty proud.
He looked good at the end. At the finish, he looked like he could go an extra couple laps.
He was still moving. He ran a really good race.
He was in and out of my aid station so quickly every time. I'm still not sure what he looked like.
He's the other one that passed me, but he passed me when he lapped me. And then we mentioned Matt Borland taking fourth. And I don't know how to say number 5. Do you know how to say number 5's name?
I think it's just Terry.
Terry.
Yeah.
He ran a great race.
Yeah, he did.
For 5th place.
Yeah.
Kevin Brown. We all picked Low to win the race on the female side. Lucas 8th. Ramon ran a great race, and then Jennifer Russo. So to top it out, and those are some good names on there. Now Marty picked 7 people going under 18 hours. You know how many went under 18, Marty?
5.
5.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Now,
well.
in the
Ain't win 'em
chat,
all.
Craig said that we had the same finishing rate as last year,
That sounds about right.
even with mud versus no mud.
So I've got a theory about this because I kind of watched it happen during the race. That course was so fast that I think it suckered a lot of runners into too fast of a pace going into that afternoon heat. and they beat the hell out of themselves. And even when the darkness and the cooler weather came, they were already beat up and they struggled. It was a bit of a sucker's bet the first half of that race.
I absolutely agree.
I gotta say, when I was from my perspective of taking pictures, the first loop, everyone was running by, jumping up, making faces, thumbs flex. They like a lot of people flexing.
Yeah.
Second loop, a little bit less. Third loop, a little bit less. And by the time night hit, people were, you could tell they were like kind of forcing smiles if they're even trying to smile. So I kind of saw that early enthusiasm and kind of that decline. And then the next morning, it was, a lot of people kind of limping across the finish line.
I think we did as much of suffering runners at the aid station, maybe more this year than last year. Because last year
It's
they were just
wild.
miserable. They would come in and I just want to finish, and they turn around and leave. They just wanted to trudge to the finish. They would get to us and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I keep going. And you
Yeah.
kind of had to rebuild them and get them back out there. They were beat up.
It's
Yeah.
so on the first loop, I'm running with a bunch of people that I don't know, and I'm hearing the chats and stuff like that, and it's hard to you're listening to their conversations, and they don't have they have a little experience on the hundreds, but you're hearing their conversations, and you're like, yikes, it's not going to be a good day for them. I was trying to get one girl to start. I'm like, you need to start walking. And she's like, I'm good. I feel good. She was 13 miles in. And I'm like, you need to start walking, throw in some walks. And I think she ended up DNFing on it. So I think you're right, Andy. I think that made a huge. That's why the finish rate is about the same. Just because that heat took a toll. I think the heat took a toll, and that course being fast is big.
Yeah, we
Yep.
weren't really prepared for 75 to be considered hot.
Yeah.
We
Right.
didn't. We could have had ice at the aid stations, but we're like looking in 75 degrees. It's just we're used to the Keys and sweat, swat, swear, where hot is 90 plus. But
Right.
like we had this cat from Pennsylvania down, and he finished in like 21 hours. And he finished. He said, that was horrible. I hated every step of that race. And I'm like, well, we're not going to use you for our advertising. And B, what was wrong with it? He goes, it was so flat and hot. I said, well, have you heard of the Central Florida mountain range? He said, of course you haven't, because there isn't one. I'm like, you should have known it was going to be flat and hot. You're in Florida. He's down from Pennsylvania. But he said, but I did see 4 gators, and that saved the race for me. So,
we
you know,
did wind up having that conversation with a number of runners from out of state who weren't used to running on flat ground like that.
oh yeah,
And so, Jeff, you were talking about the 4.2. The 4.2 is not just good for keeping your heart rate down and keeping yourself within yourself. I think it helps you change your stride, because when you run completely flat ground for 10, 15, 20 miles in a row, when you're used to going up and down and changing your stride every couple hundred yards, that wears on you.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
think
think that's like moving to this course and you getting to have all those new people come down. I think that's what makes this race even more exciting now, because before, and I haven't only been coming since 2020, but we see all the same people. The Florida people sell the race out
right.
at, in 5 minutes, and now we get to share that joy with people from all over the country now, and I think that's exciting. See, because I talked to a few people, and they're like, well, you look around the pavilions, I was like, we don't know anybody. You're used to knowing every single runner you see, but I thought it was exciting to get to see and hear some of the stuff from people who thought it was hot or just got excited for an alligator or something like that. So I think that's a great direction where the race is headed.
Right.
They-
And for those people that were hot, there were also the Florida people who had their camping heaters out there in their crew tents
And our onesies on.
and puffer jackets.
Yeah, it was perfect for me. I enjoyed it. So, but then, I mean, you had like Fanny Barrett that came down from Canada. All she does is mountain races, and this was her second fastest 100 she's ever had, and she was six female, and came in 22:19. She had a great race down
Awesome.
there.
Yeah, I mean, we had 55 people break 24 hours.
I have that
That's
marked down
impressive.
there.
That's
55
a good
under
that is a
24.
good number there. Let's take a look at last year's sub 24, and it was only 34.
Yeah.
So, it's about the same number of finishers. Let's see. Yeah, 145 versus 149 on finishers. But at the top, they were faster.
Yeah.
So how many started the 100 this year?
Well, we had 287 still on the roster when the race started. Limit was 300, so we played that wait list pretty good. But I don't know how many actually started. I know there were 287 on the roster when the gun went off. So not everybody showed, though. We did have probably at least 10 packets that never got picked up. That's pure profit. Thank you. I wish they'd let us know before we ordered their shirts, though, that
Right.
they weren't going to show up.
Get them on eBay.
No,
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy there was an extra shirt.
All right. Well, we got some more. I got to make sure all you guys get one. So
127 went under 30 hours, and then 49 finish.
So 127 Western States tickets.
Yep.
Not bad.
bad.
21 finished in golden hour.
That was a good hour.
That's impressive.
You can't believe how exciting that is at our aid station with just over 2 miles left.
You guys did
Oh,
an
It is the most
outstanding
urgent hour of the
job.
entire race for us. I mean, we go slightly apeshit trying to make sure we get those people in, out, and back on time.
Yeah.
That is something I hate more than anything, is having to pull runners, and thought we were going to have to do it. The only ones that we pulled were perfectly okay with being pulled. They did not want to face.
Yeah,
but
we
there
thought
was
we were gonna have some drama.
there was a couple
there were some arguments.
yeah
Some begging.
Sometimes you got to listen, and since we really failed to publish a hard cutoff, and we will next year, we know what it's going to be. It's going to be 12:30 at aid station 1. No one can leave aid station 1 after 12:30 p.m. But there were some people that we considered cutting off that beat the cutoff by an hour and 10 minutes, and I almost pulled them out of the race. So that was really, those were my favorite finishers. I'm like, man, we had them.
We didn't have anybody miss. Well, there wasn't an official cutoff, but we didn't have to hold anybody at the last aid station. But we did have one person who wound up having to be pulled at the 98-mile mark. That was tough.
Injury?
No, she had the leans. She had a pacer with her. She had the leans so bad that she finally fell and she couldn't stand up on her own.
Oh,
And so we raced out there and took care of her, and Justin pulled his truck up, and we had to pick her up and put her in the truck. She couldn't stand up.
That's sad.
But it was just
Yeah.
those sideways leans, that potassium shortage.
Yep.
Yeah, I came across her right before I got to the final aid station, about a mile or so before that aid station, and she was fighting, man. I mean, that's what is so special about this sport, man. Is that young lady was fighting her ass off for that last 5 miles, man. And it does break your heart.
I've had some late DNFs, but I can't imagine going 98 miles and having to get into a truck.
Yeah, Bill Zulis did a few years ago at 95, at mile 95. We just couldn't, he just had that lean so bad. I think he had I think all he had to do was go for spur 3 on the old course, and he just couldn't do it.
Holy moly.
Yeah, my pacer kept telling me, "You did it, Marty, you did it." And I, right as we're coming out of the Boots and Saddles aid station, and I said, "No, we've not done it yet. My feet are like razors right now. I don't know that I can do it." And she, "Oh no, you're gonna do it." So yeah, you can't take it for granted, no matter how close you get. It's hard. It gets hard.
Yeah. it is nice having that boots and saddles, and it's only 2 miles to the finish.
Right.
You're like, I'm home. So I tried to blow through there, and Andy's like, "You're not leaving. I'm giving you a hug." So,
Well, you blow through so fast on the earlier laps. I need a little love before the
yeah.
race is over.
So, yeah. So
But there's not a more special race to finish than this one. That's for sure.
yeah.
I'll drink to that, Marty.
It means a lot to get that hug from Andy and Amy.
Yep. 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 Yeah, I'm all done with mine. Um, how many of the 5-timers?
Great question. There were 9 people going for their 500-mile buckle, and 7 of them finished.
Okay.
Right.
So, that means we have at least one of them can't wait to get back and try again, and the other's is having a crisis of the spirit right now and trying to figure it out. But so yeah, we gave out 7 500-mile buckles. That's pretty incredible.
Nice.
So
And there's
party.
one of them.
Good looking buckle.
It's
Nice.
yeah, it's nice.
I noticed it was a little bigger than the
That would
regular
make a
one.
great podcast episode with those 7 people.
Yeah.
Try
Yeah.
to get all 9. Try to get the 2 that didn't finish also.
Yeah.
So with Bruce, and who was the other one?
Wasn't gonna name John Ryder
Oh, okay.
came down from Ohio.
Well, I was getting updates on Bruce, and I guess he was just sleepwalking and not feeling well. So
It's never an easy thing. Never an easy thing. We should never take it for granted. Running 100 miles. Yeah.
no. So all day long I was calculating. I'm like, I just gotta get 30 hours. So I'm like, I can do 20-minute miles. Kept getting better and better. And I'm like, I want to go to bed. Let's get this thing done. So I don't think I went to sleep. So I started driving home, and I had to stop like 20 miles on my way home to sleep in a parking lot. I was falling asleep.
I've done the same thing.
I've
I
done
can make it.
Guilty.
Yeah. And then Tommy got it done. Tommy Granovich.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was
12
cutting it
for
close.
Tommy.
What's
12 for Tommy.
that? 12 or 13?
12.
12. Okay.
Oof.
He got it done. Bernadette. I mean, she's a
8
champ.
for her.
She knows how to manage that race. She knows
Yeah.
what to do. She got it done really
Yeah.
good. So
When do we have to rename it the Tommy race? How many he's got to finish before it's just
We're not going to sell to. So what is that? We're not going to sell to UTMB, and we're not going to take any corporate naming things. It's just Amy and Andy doing our long haul thing.
yeah.
I kind of think that's
Poor-
why you guys like us.
Poor Tommy. Tommy's like, I didn't train all year long. This is the least amount of miles. I feel
Well,
like I got to do it.
Andy, just do me a favor and just count how many zeros are on the check they offer you before you say
Yeah.
you're not going to do that.
Well, you'll know. I'll disappear if that happens. Who was that guy that used to run?
Oh yeah.
But no, Andy, that's what you just said about how it's just you and Amy, and that's what people like. I've noticed at the aid stations, people care. They treat it more not as a job, but as a responsibility. They want to not necessarily impress you, but they just feel like they're holding themselves to a higher standard because it's the long haul. It's Andy and Amy. And when I was out there, taking pics, I was like, I want to do something that makes Andy proud. So I mean, I feel like I'm talking for everybody,
Thank
but
you.
we all love you guys, and we appreciate everything you do. It's yeah, you guys are amazing.
Well, I really love half of us. I can tell you that.
Which half?
We'll say what happened.
His better half.
My better half, exactly.
Yeah. In that park it's night and day. That park between them and Cypress Creek.
Oh,
Greg, concur, and I'm glad you feel that way. I know it's lost some of its, uh, small, friendly atmosphere, but we're opening it up to more people, and it didn't matter because the park, Cypress Creek, wasn't going to let us stay.
Yeah.
The park staff themselves, they loved what we did, and they thought we were good ambassadors. But it's just Swift Mud decided to make that decision that they were going to limit any events, and also limit them to only nonprofit agencies, and then limit the roster to 100 participants. So obviously, since we needed 100 finishers to keep our Western State status, we couldn't do that with we couldn't be guaranteed to do that with only 100 starters.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot stop. We will not let you. We were.
That would be scary.
That was like the
That would
first.
make your job a lot more stressful.
That was like the first year. You're doing whatever you could to get people over the finish
Oh,
line to get
man.
that 100.
Yeah, including several announcements like, "This is not chipped time. There are bicycles hidden at point A, B, and C."
That-
8
that's
loops, 10 loops. That's good enough. No, we didn't really do that, but we did really want people to finish,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was chip timed.
Yeah, one thing, Andy, you mentioned that it's not the small race feel, but one thing that I noticed different, like an improvement over last year, is there was a bigger gathering at each parking area, crew area than there was last year. So you did have 4 different sections that you ran through. Well, really, what was that? D or whatever the other one? A, start line, and B, you definitely had a big group of people there cheering for you each time you
Right.
went through, and you knew most of them, so you still got that energy. It wasn't that all in one base camp kind of thing, but you still had a whole bunch of people that you knew that cheered for you, spread out over the whole 16 miles. So it definitely lifted me up, going through
Good.
the different sections.
Yeah, I definitely like that too. So I know when I come through, I'd see Mark. Mark would give me updates. He gave me water. It was nice coming through all those different areas. And they weren't far apart, so it's not like you were 15 miles between aid stations where you get that boost. You were getting that boost every 4 miles or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the campground area, like where the aid station 1 was, I like that. It was everybody had their tents lit up, everybody was ringing their cowbells and cheering, and it was real nice.
It wasn't as crowded as it was last year. Last year there was a lot more people out there.
I just remember mud
Yeah,
last year.
and great job with the parking too. Last year they were parked on both sides of the road.
Yeah, it
You
was.
couldn't hardly run through there.
Yeah, last year was kind of a nightmare with all that, and we are even looking looking for ways to even make that better and better. But it was not as bad. Like when we had to deliver supplies out there, it was not nearly as bad this year.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that aid station that was a better setup for that aid station out there.
Yeah.
Take away the mud, it was still a better setup out there. What's his name did a great job out there.
Corey
did a great job. And I went through there and Nicole was out there. I'm like, I thought you were running a race. And she's like, yeah, she wasn't feeling well and she dropped.
Yeah.
Dropped and went and worked an aid station overnight.
Yeah, I know. She worked all the entire race afterwards.
Yeah, she was there all night. Yeah.
Yeah. She's pretty special.
Yeah. And Craig, you did a good job. You did whatever anybody needed you to do. Pace, work an aid station, wear an alligator suit.
He wore that well into the day when it got hot. I was like, dude, take that thing off. You don't need to do it anymore. Don't sweat yourself to death.
So, and I think those aid stations are going to get better and better every year. I
The
think
competition. Who can have the best one?
My Pacers, none of them had been out there for the long haul race, and so when we got out to Boots and Saddles, I said, look over there, there's the aid station. And they saw it looked like an airport runway over there. They said, what in the hell is all those lights? Is that the aid station? I said, that's the path to the aid station.
I'm like, I don't know how you got into some of those bushes, Andy, to put those lights up.
My legs look like just shredded in places. I'm going out on Friday next year to do it. I'm going to do it right. It's gonna be bigger,
You're
Marty.
gonna do it right next time, huh?
No, I want to go out there in like jeans and you know, some kind of protection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some chaps.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was good. I think great race. Any last thoughts?
Whew.
You gonna have it again next year, Andy?
We are definitely going to have it again next year. I think it's pretty sure it's January 18th, but I'm going to give you guys where I'm not pretty sure. Oh, January 17th.
17.
Yeah, 17th and 18th
I'll
next
be
year.
I'll be doing the big race again if anybody wants to join me.
Woo, girl,
Right.
yeah.
Them 12 and a half miles, man. Those I think I'd rather run 100.
Well, you can do it. You just let me know.
No way. I like hanging out with everybody.
All
I like
right.
supporting everybody.
Well, we
Right.
certainly liked having you there. I know at least one person finished that wouldn't have if you hadn't been available. So
No,
was
she
pretty
did
cool.
good. She
Yeah.
finished good.
we
got to know that yellow loop real well.
I'll let you did. That was, and I think we're gonna open up registration after Whispering Pines. We'll either open it on the 2nd or 3rd of February. So
Cool deal. So
yes.
I don't think any of us are. Mark Brigette, you running this race next year?
My schedule's full for 2025. Let me get through that first. So I don't need to be throwing any extra races on the schedule. My wife would have a fit.
What are you? What were you going after this year?
I got down to 110 next week. So,
you got down to 110.
And then Immolition and Miami 100, Miami 50-50. There's a few other ones in there too.
You got a good team there between you
Yep.
and Ramon.
So
Well,
and then I got to count all those that I crew
Doesn't
for
sound
those
like Mark
guys.
wants a easier race.
What's that, Andy?
I said, doesn't sound like you want an easier race. All the ones you mentioned are just really hard.
I like the heat.
And PTC?
Yeah, as long as I'm okay for coming off of Immolition, I got a month to recover from that. So hopefully, I'll be out for Immolition or for PTC.
Good deal.
Yep.
Good deal. We're trying to get Andy to run that race one year.
Barrett, right?
No, he's run it.
What?
Barrett's run it.
Which one?
PTC, I've signed up for it before.
I think everyone in the state of Florida has signed up for it before. Whether they ran is a different story.
Come on, Andy. I'll be there.
I like volunteering out there.
We like having you volunteering out there. So it's a good race. So
I've always enjoyed that race until the last 10 mile.
yeah.
Oh,
And then wondered
the
what I
hardest
was
10
thinking.
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I know the last 10 miles pretty well. That's my training ground.
That's your home course. Huh? Well, I just want to say, man, what really attracted me to ultra running is the community, big time. And the long haul 100, there is no other. And I have a whole lot of race directors that I love dearly. I don't want to name them, because I miss somebody, but the long haul 100 is, the epitome of the ultra running community and the love and support that community shares with each other, and with, the way they love their race director, the way the volunteers and the race directors take care of the runners. It's just when I was down there 2 years ago to do my thing, it touched my heart in a way that, and I've been back ever since, and I will be back until I can't do it anymore. Running it, volunteering at it, no question about it.
Well, thank you, Marty. It sure was a great thing when you came down a couple years ago and started a really nice friendship. And we were so happy to hand you that buckle this year. That was one of the highlights of the race. Giving Jeff his 500-mile buckle was pretty darn cool, and giving you the finisher's buckle was pretty darn cool.
So Andy, the picture for on the front cover of Long Haul next year. Don't pick mine, please.
Come on.
Yeah. Whatever I say, yours was second place. Okay. Jeff,
Yeah.
you
My favorite
Second
picture is the picture of the I call it the podcasters.
podcasters. Look, Alberts took over 4,000 pictures. I have no idea what the signature shot is going to be.
I say we use this one.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
Oh, I
Really
know,
sell the
right?
race.
Teresa Lucas, look at her. Yeah.
She was okay with me showing. That's the only reason I'm showing this is I asked
Okay.
her. She goes, "Oh yeah, post it." But I tell you what, she fell down. She laid there for a second, and then she got right back up, and then she looks
Yep.
fine. So she
I
took
wanted to
that
go
fall
catch
really
her
low.
so badly. I wanted to go catch her so badly because
If you look
it happen.
here, Mr. Bob Becker went to catch her, and he realized he's like, if I try to catch her, I'm going down with her. So
Yeah.
So is this
Yeah,
that's
the
what Bob
finish or is this just a finish in a loop?
that was her. She
No,
finished.
that was finishing overall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
told me she's used to marathons where you sprint the last 100 yards. So the whole last 100 yards, she was falling down and catching herself, and she had a trekking
Wow.
pole, and she threw it to the side.
Oh, I saw
So
that.
we kind of
Dang.
all expected. Amy, I was there, and I go, Amy, what the heck is that? And so Amy, that's how we noticed. I just saw a blur coming, so she got a little overexcited, but she finished up and she was fine. So I
She
talked her
did,
out.
and she was she's been in contact with us since, and she had a really good time. She said, in
Good,
spite of the
good.
fall.
So is that her
Gotta
first
love the
100? There's a
sport.
lot of first hundreds out there.
I
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm not going to try and guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
know
to-
I talked to a couple. I don't know if they made it or not. I don't remember their names, but I talked to a couple that were in their first.
Well, you saw at the dinner on Friday night, about half the people there that were at the dinner said that was their first.
Yeah, that
100.
was impressive. The number of hands that went up.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's I mean,
It's a hard thing.
yeah. Yep. But
That's
it's
why we do it.
You want to do more and more and more after this race. During it, you don't want to ever do any more.
Oh,
Then
That's
a week later, you're looking for your next.
Right.
It takes you a whole week, Jeff.
That's a great-
I mean, I'm already thinking of the going down there and joining Clapper and Lowe at what is it? Save the Daylight 48 hours. So I don't know. It sounds stupid, but we'll
You
see.
get 48 hours. You get a buckle in 48 hours. You get two of them.
Now, unfortunately, I read the thing and they have the coveted golden 200-mile belt
Mhm.
buckle. I'm like, why did I read that? Why did I read
I'm thinking about it too.
that? Are you, Mike? Let's go,
Yeah.
Mike.
I don't
Thinking
think
about it.
anybody's come close to 200 there yet, have they?
Yeah, the course record is 200. It's a female. She did 202.
Lisa
That happened
DeBone.
in the last year or two.
Yeah, Lisa, I think.
No, it was Lisa about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
And then the male record is like 170. What Barry, what'd you have down there?
162. I poor performance.
Okay. Yeah. So come on, Mike. We'll go.
Well, you talked me into it.
We'll make it
Okay.
a fun. We'll make it a fun race. So,
When is that? What month is that?
I want to say it's March 8th.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
March 8th.
It starts on a Friday. March 7th and 8th and 9th. So it starts
Man,
on-
Lowe is just a beast. She just knocked out Long Haul, first place female, doing 2 weeks later doing Death at Dupuis, and then a few weeks after that, a 48-hour race. she's an animal.
Yep. She's in a different league from me. She surpassed me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for joining.
Awesome. Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me.
Andy, for a great race.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank each of you for your different varied participations. It's what made the race great, you know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's what I was
Same.
hoping. Get some different perspectives.
Same time next year.
All righty.
We will be there.
Hey, y'all. Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.
Yeah,
Good
thank
night,
you all
everybody.
for joining us on the chat.
Of course.
Take care.